Welcome back to the podcast. Welcome back to Game and Compute. Here we talk often about finances, side hustles, different types of ways to look at your money. And lately I've been kind of on a new career journey that I'm kind of wanting to speak on. So lately I've been trying to phase out of this field, but I'm in the very early stages and I'm in no major rush. So I've kind of taken on some resources to try to help myself. I was kind of wondering for a while before, why I was just like kind of feeling a lot of the things I was feeling, while working. And then I realized after a while, I came to this conclusion and realization that, it's not necessarily that I have like very low motivation or depression necessarily, but a lot of it was being triggered by just not, being too pleased with my current work situation. Now I'm lucky that there's nothing like directly kind of like upsetting me about work. I don't have like coworkers like bugging me, or like there's no like major harassment situation or anything. Some things, it's a little isolating. It's a little like I'm used to kind of having like a team of people around me, where it's like, that was the model I had for about 5 years, of like people being around me, where it's like, yeah, between sessions, if we ended early, or if we had like a no-show, at least I had friends that I worked with that we would kind of like vent or like just catch up and stuff. Like it was pretty relaxed as far as like us being able to kind of interact and like sit. It was like a bullpen style kind of like setting, where we had therapy rooms, so we would sit in the bullpen style to get our paperwork done and all of our documentation on the computers. We had our own personal desktop computers, and with like just a single cubicle little wall between our desks, like the dividers, but otherwise, we could hear each other on the phone. We could talk to one another, like just pull our chairs back and like chat and stuff. And we all became really good friends. And we'd have a puzzle in the middle of the big large little conference table in the middle of the room, that there'd be some snacks there, or some like candy there, or a puzzle, or things to like sit and color. Like it's not like we were doing that kind of stuff all day, but every now and then when you really just needed to like have a break, like sometimes you'd have lunch real quick and then like do a little coloring thing, or like work on a puzzle a little bit and like chit chat with your coworkers. And but when we had actual therapy rooms, individual sessions, we would book out different rooms in the clinic, because there were like a lot of different rooms. Like I think it was 1 to 22 or something like that. And then we'd have, there was a calendar for the room, for each room. And so you could see if it was available or somebody was in it or whatever. Like it didn't work out too smoothly, but it actually made more sense to book out like the same room. We could book out rooms up to 2 weeks in advance. So a lot of us had our favorite rooms, and we just pre-booked them every 2 weeks, and just, but then there was a little bit of like somebody beating you to book the room. And then, I would usually get the one in the back, because I like to walk the clients to and from the session, and it got me up out of the desk for a little bit, and I could kind of walk a little bit, and like, but then somebody else started liking those rooms. But I also liked that it felt like a little more privacy, because you weren't like exactly across the hall from other rooms. And like I had some clients that kind of talked a little loudly, and like I kind of felt like the walls were a little thin, and so you could kind of like talk. And like I just kind of had a preference of rooms, and it had like a little window. It was high up, but like it kind of had like some natural lighting and stuff, but things like that. But yeah, now we work from home, and like it's a whole different setup. Like, we don't have to work from home. We can go out in the field, but it's kind of harder to go out in the field, honestly. Because, you spend money on gas and stuff, and our gas is, like, outrageously expensive. But, yeah, I mean, there's nothing really going, like, actively wrong, like, to the point where I would be like, oh, like, this is a toxic site or anything like that. Like, everybody tries, but lately I've been kind of tuned into Ken Coleman's material and trying to, like, I kind of listen to his show a little bit more often now, or have it on YouTube. And, like, I kind of realized through my creative projects that, like, it's not that I don't have, like, a passion for working or, like, whatever, because that's what was worrying me at first. I was like, man, like, I don't even, like, want to work. And you can't get on disability for something like that, like, just not wanting to work. Like, there's more to it than that. But I was just like, man, like, it's just, I'd never really woken up like that and just felt like, dude, I don't want to do this. So it's been helping, kind of, like, talking to, like a kind of like a life coach type of person. It's a little helpful just for me to kind of vent about stuff, but they don't really actively help me. This person isn't really, like, actively helping me. And then I accidentally signed up for, like, another month, so I ended up having to pay for it, and I actually was kind of done mid last month, so I'll be still talking to them in sessions through this month. And so I was kind of like, whatever. Like, it's kind of helpful just to have somebody to bounce ideas off of, but they're not really, like, too hands-on with processing things. And, like, they listen, but it's like they're not really, like, I feel like I'm doing more of the processing myself, and they're not really, like, challenging me on a lot of things too much. I mean, I don't want somebody to be, like, a complete jerk and just be like twisting my words and stuff, like, not like that. But I mean, I feel like it's kind of like I'm the one that's, like, looking for resources for myself, and, like, finding out, like, different books that I'm into, and, like, just trying to absorb a lot of content surrounding, like, career path changes. And I'm noticing what I love doing through keeping my creative projects going. But it's like even when I'm at work, sometimes I'm just like, man, I just want to, like, work on this part of this project, or, like, during my break I want to do this for this project, or, like, during lunch I'd rather do this than, like, I'll eat while I'm, like, doing documentation, and then spend my 30-minute lunch break, like, working on this other project or something, something I'm doing for fun outside of work. And then I'm noticing more and more I'm, like, more and more heavily towards my own projects, and creativity, and just doing that kind of, like, creative flow, versus, like, spending all my energy 8 hours every weekday, in this grind of, just, I'm just having a lot of compassion fatigue and burnout. That's really what it is. And I don't really see it going away. Like, I always told my friends, like, I kind of have this 10 business day kind of idea in my head, where I'm like, okay, if there's something that lingers for more than, like, 10 business days, then there's definitely something up. So I do keep track of things like that. But I'm like, yeah, there's no reason for me to, like, take off some days of work, like, do some stuff, have some fun, meet some friends, have some parties, and then just, like, I'm not, like, dreading work necessarily. It's just, like, I don't know, like, I've kind of lost hope in it. Maybe that's more so what it is. I'm kind of just, like, I don't know, like, I don't have the energy to really push as much as I could before. Like, definitely feeling, like, defeated by the system. Like, that's definitely a big thing for me right now, where I'm just like, this is sucking. It's really sucking, that the system is just so screwy that, like, we can't really feel like we're even, like, being of service and help and use. to our people, and or we're limited with resources. And I know the people need the help, and it's like they might be like, they're coming to us because they're probably far more limited than we are, because they don't like spend 8 hours every single day for like multiple years of their lives learning about these systems and stuff. And so because we do, like, we are, at least as far as we can be, we're kind of experts on things, but it is kind of draining to try to navigate these systems that are just seeming like they're just actively trying to just like push the poor, out of these cities, and just, it seems like they're like actively being attacked by the system almost. It's just pretty disheartening to kind of have to deal with it every day. And these people don't have money to be paying for other types of services, and so they just are at the mercy of whatever somebody can find for them at this point. But I don't know, it's just not ideally how I'd like to spend all my days, to be honest. It's just like, this isn't a valuable, I mean, I love that we're helping people, but to me, it's not valuable for my energy to like spend my energy doing this. That's kind of how I feel. I'm like, this isn't valuable for me. But yeah. But with that, thanks for listening.